And again, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is the first in a series, in our winter series of the MOS program, the Minnesota Outdoor Skills and Stewardship Series. Again, my name is Benji Cohn, and with me today I have two wonderful guests that work at the DNR, Azalea and Veronica. So Azalea, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Benji. My name is Azalea Fricky, and I work for the Fish and Wildlife Section License Center. And so my main goals are to help with people calling in regarding titling and registering all of our DNR vehicles.
Thank you, Benji, for inviting me. My name is Veronica Vides, and I'm the marketing consultant for Minnesota State Parks and Trails. And like I like to say about my job, I get to encourage people to go outdoors and play, which is something I love to do.
Awesome. So a little bit about the Minnesota Outdoor Skills and Stewardship Series. As most of you know, we do this on Wednesdays at noon for roughly about 45 minutes. But our goal is to just introduce people to things at the DNR, all kinds of things. Maybe it's fly tying, ice safety, and this is the first in our winter series this week. So being December 1 today. So next week we have ice safety for outdoor sports. We have fly tying talk coming up. Learning to hunt as an adult. You can see all those through. We actually go through the end of February. So if you're interested in any of those, please click on the link in the chat to go to the MOS program page, and you will be able to register for any and all of those. So with that, let's get right into it, Azalea. We'll go right into lifetime licenses, which I think is an awesome idea.
Yes, so when you guys brought this idea up for gift ideas through the DNR, unfortunately, we don't have many options within the license center as gift options for people, but we do have this lifetime license option for, as you can see on the screen, fishing, small game, sports, which is the combination of fishing and small game, firearms, and that is including muzzleloader, so that's either a firearm or a muzzleloader season, archery, spearing and angling, and sports with addition of spearing. There are also non-resident lifetime licenses available, and that's just for those first two categories, the fishing and small game, and the prices do differ. But for somebody who wants to give this lifetime license as a gift to somebody, there are certain criteria that we need from you. And so pretty much anyone can buy this for anyone else as long as that licensee, the person who's receiving this lifetime license, meets certain criteria. And one of those criteria are that they have to be a resident for a year, at least a year. And you can see on the top of this application, so this is a screenshot of our application. It's a paper application, and we do have to receive this paper application, and we are looking for certain private data, as you can see on here. So driver's license, social security number, name, address, all of that stuff is considered private data by Minnesota. So you as the gift giver must either have this information or present it to the recipient saying, hey, you need to fill this out. I'll pay for it because it's my gift to you. But we do require all of this information on our application. And if you look at the application, the paper application, it is 4 pages. Only one of them actually has information that needs to be completed. The other 3 pages are information for you. And it says on the application the deadline. And so that kind of confuses people sometimes. The application deadline is just talking about those price points. So if somebody is turning 4 years old and you want to give this lifetime license as a gift, getting that rate for a 3-year-old or under, we do have to receive it in our office prior to that individual's 4th birthday or any of those age categories. That's what it means by application deadline. So we are looking at when we actually receive this application as the price point that we would be charging for that particular, whatever particular lifetime license you are purchasing. So if we can go to the
And
next slide, Benji.
I think this is one of those really great ideas, especially for like, grandparents or aunts and uncles. If you have kids in the family, or if you're a big fishing or hunting family and niece or nephew or somebody has a child, to be able to buy that, angling license or hunting license when they're real little at a pretty good price. And then you always have an excuse to, like, you know what, we bought that license. I want you to bring you out to the cabin or to
Let's
the
use
deer
it.
stand.
Yeah. Actually, anecdotally, I have somebody who did the math on what they have paid the DNR over the last 22 years of their lifetime of already uh, angling, small game hunting, and deer hunting. And the total was 2,100 and some dollars. And so if I were to buy this person a lifetime license for each of those, so sportsman, which would be the angling and the small game, and then a deer firearm and a deer archery, I think that would be a little much. But if I were to do that, it would be about $2,400. So worth it. He might have paid for it already.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
as we know, Craig Kiger, he's in the call too, but he was talking about when he bought his lifetime license, he bought it right before a price increase, um, just so he could save the money for that, because as we know, with inflation going the way it is, everything seems to be going up. So buying one now and saving that money for the future is pretty cool, and it's a great way to bring a newcomer into the sport or a family member into the sport, um, if they have that interest for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Especially if the person giving the gift wants the recipient to come along with them. I mean, it's a win-win. But
Definitely.
there are certain requirements that I wanted to stress for the application for the lifetime license, and these are things that kind of trip people up sometimes. The first thing is that you got to be a resident to get the resident lifetime license. So, like I said, that residency status has to have been in effect. So, applied for at the Department of Public Safety for your driver's license number. So, at the deputy registrar for your driver's license. From that date that you applied for it, we have to go a full year before you can apply for a resident lifetime license. And I'll just also say if you are trying to purchase your residence license or purchase this before somebody leaves the state, they cannot get a new license, you know, validate their status in another state. They can't do that prior to this application going through. We have if you do that, then that is your most current driver's license and you're no longer a resident here according to our system. So that's the number one thing. You got to be a resident.
And I thought it was really cool too that if there was a lot of single mom, single dad homes, if one parent lives in Minnesota and like I reside in Wisconsin, but say my wife lived in Minnesota, my kids would be registered as a lifetime license as a Minnesota resident because one of their parents lives there.
Yep,
So that's kind of a neat
exactly.
option too.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up too because if this is for children, then the residency status is dependent on their parent, not them. Because what we do for residency status is that driver's license or state ID number. And so if you don't have one, if you're younger than 21, you don't have a driver's license, then your residency status depends on one of your parents. And unfortunately, it has to be parent or guardian. It can't be like the grandparent that gets that resident status for their grandchild. It's got to be, unless they are the guardian. parent or guardian. Um, as you might imagine, these lifetime licenses are not transferable and they're not refundable. So, although you get the best deal when they're 3 years old, keep that in mind. The other thing is that we get funding for how many licenses are sold per year. And so when we have these lifetime licenses, the way that we can get funding for these particular licenses is the recipient or the licensee has got to validate it or authorize whatever license that they're going to be using every year that they use it. And so it's really important for us to get that funding. So if this is something that you let it lapse and then you forget about it, make sure if you're going to go out and take advantage of the opportunity for whatever license you have, make sure you validate it, authorize it annually. And of course, you have to also buy stamps. So the things that require stamps, trout, pheasant, duck, waterfowl, anything that requires a stamp, you will have to pay for that separately. Otherwise, there's no additional cost for the recipient of this lifetime license. Um, the only other additional cost might be the online fee. There's an online, I think it's
Yeah.
$1.65, and if you buy over the phone, I think it's like $3. So very minimal, but there is that fee if you purchase that way. If you purchase in person at any one of our agents across Minnesota, there's no additional fee to you as the licensee.
And you just brought up another great thing that I forgot to even include on this was the stamps. There's now, when I was growing up, we used to get a walleye stamp or a trout stamp, and you had an actual physical stamp.
Mhm.
And we don't do that anymore. You can just go in and say, yeah, I put it on my license. But those stamps are still there. You can still get a turkey stamp, walleye stamp, pheasant stamps, and they're a piece of art. They're
Yeah,
great
they're
artwork, and a lot of people
very
are
pretty.
collecting those.
Yeah, and that's a good idea for somebody if they are collecting. Just note that there's 75 cents more per stamp if you want that
Yep.
pictorial. And then it takes about 3 weeks to process. So if you're trying to get this as a hard copy to give them something on Christmas morning, keep that in mind. We're coming up to that. So
And I like that, with the private data and stuff that's involved, if you're buying one for a niece or nephew, grandkid, or even a grandparent, maybe, that, filling out the check for the DNR, printing that form out and giving that to them as a gift that says, hey, you need to fill out the rest of this information and then mail this in because I'm really looking forward to going hunting with you in the future.
yeah, I
I
think
think
that's
is
a
a pretty
great
cool
idea.
thing. So
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you can fax it in. You don't have to mail it in,
yeah,
just FYI. Get it to us quicker.
faxes, that's a new. So
Okay, so then, like I said at the top, we don't have many options within the License Center. I know Veronica is going to give you guys a lot of options, better options for gift giving than we have in the License Center, but there are a couple things that we wanted to mention. If you have the person's private data, you can purchase the horse pass and the ski pass, cross country ski pass as well. Um, but like I said, you do have to have that private data. So Benji was talking, maybe this would be a good gift from Santa to the family. And so you would have that information and you would be able to purchase it for all of you.
yeah, I love that idea. I'm not huge into horses. I don't ride horses much anymore, but we do cross country ski quite a bit. And the ski pass is a great deal. I do recommend that you go on the DNR website and look up ski pass, the Great Minnesota Ski Pass, because it doesn't work everywhere. Some trails it will work on, all state parks and state forest groom trails it'll work on,
On state
um,
trails.
on state trails. So, and Veronica, correct me if I'm wrong, but like Three Rivers Park District is a separate park district that
Correct.
you have to buy their pass for. So the ski pass does not work there. But like Battle Creek, park is a grant and aid trail through the state of Minnesota, and you do have to have a ski pass. So
That's right.
make sure you look at that map online, and there's a link in the chat for that before you go out and just buy a ski pass. But if you
Yeah.
are a cross-country skier and want to tour around, there's a lot of state parks with cross-country skiing, and there's a lot of state trails that are great to visit. So
There's a short URL that I have memorized just so I can check every time, for snow conditions or what trail is groomed near me for the Great Minnesota Ski Pass, and that is mndnr.gov/ski pass. Pretty simple, so just something to take note. And the other cool thing too that I did for the first time last year is that you can get a 3-year pass, and that's a really good deal actually.
yeah, that's really nice to be able to get a 3-year pass for that.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah,
couple other
worry.
things I wanted to highlight. The chickadee checkoff on your taxes, that supports our non-game fund. So, and the habitat vehicle plates, we have critical habitat, non-game license plates. There's also a state park license plate. So if you have a family member, or if your family likes to visit state parks a lot, it's one of those things you can buy and show your support for. The state park vehicle pass actually gets you into the parks, which is kind of cool. The habitat vehicle plates, or you can get the deer one or the loon one, that supports the non-game foundation or critical habitat funds. And
Or the newest one, which is the pollinator one, the one that you have on the screen.
and the pollinator one, yep.
Hmm.
So it funds a specific interest, I guess would be the best way to put that. So it's kind of a neat way for, if you have a husband or wife, or um, a kid that's driving now that is really into pollinators or into hunting or something, you can buy a license plate and pay that extra. I believe it's a $30 fee
Hmm.
to get kind of a cool plate there and show support for that. So,
And I
with that,
believe the state park pass or the state park license plate, I believe that's a $70 purchase
I,
versus the $30 for the critical habitat, just so everyone's aware.
thank you. I believe you're correct on that. So, with that, let's get into Veronica's Minnesota State Parks and Trail gift cards ideas.
Oh, thank you very much, Benji. Thank you, Azalea. Lots of interesting information. Well, I think it's been touched on already, but a lot of us are shopping for just the right gift right now. And Minnesota State Parks and Trails offer many, many choices. As a lover of the outdoors life myself, I'm biased, and I think that a gift of outdoor recreation is the best kind of gift, pretty much up there with the gift of time. When you give the gift of your time with loved ones outdoors, you give a gift they will remember all their lives. There is a Minnesota State Park or trail about a half-hour away, no matter where you live in Minnesota. We really are blessed with a broad system of parks and trails. So this is something actually that I always ask one of the kids' sons to do because she loves get my kids gift. She makes a gift certificate for a day out. And you can add something from Minnesota State Parks and Trails for that person in your life, whether they're already outdoorsy or you're gonna guide them on a new experience outside. So I put together a list of a few examples of things you can get to enjoy parks and trails. So I would say the number one thing that your best bet is to get a state park gift card, because you can use it in lots of different ways, like you can see on the slide. And I'm going to go into this, into all these options. You can buy them online at mndnr.gov/reservations, or by calling Gooseberry Falls State Park. And I can share that number. I don't know if I can share the number of the chat or not, Benji. The number is 218-595-7101, but that's also all on our website. Any park with an open office can also sell gift cards. And one of the things you can do with a gift card is get that permit sticker. That's $35. The permit allows free and unlimited entrance, like Benji was saying, to all 75 state parks and recreation areas for a whole year from the day you buy it, basically. And but again, you can buy at any park office too, if you know the person receiving the gift doesn't have one already. They can also, with the gift card, they can reserve their camping, a campsite, or rent a weekend camper cabin or yurt or any of other lodging options. One that I really enjoy are the suites at Itasca. If you've not been, I highly recommend it. Itasca State Park in the winter is just fantastic. You can also take a tour. We have 4 different tours that are around the state. One is the Atsudan underground mine. You get to travel by cage, 27 stories below ground, for a guided tour of Minnesota's first and deepest underground mine. At Mystery Cave, the tour showcase features like stalactites, stalagmites, flowstone, fossils, and beautiful underground pools. Caves are, if you're not familiar with the driftless area, oh, is there something wrong with the audio? Bonita was commenting. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine now. You broke up there for a few minutes, but I think you've hit the weekend camping and the lodge and yurts. I think we're good. So
Okay. And then talking about tours now. So we have different tour options. I mentioned the mine. The Mystery Cave was in the driftless area at Mystery Cave, Forestville Mystery Cave State Park. Absolutely worth a visit and taking a tour. There are all kinds of tours too that you can take there to learn different things. There's a science tour, and you can go getting more into the deeper channels as well.
your audio is going a little funky again.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Those mine tours. One of my favorite mines, one of my favorite tours in all the state parks is that Sudan mine up there. That is just a phenomenal. I've probably been there a dozen, probably more times, and it's great. If you're ever up in that neck of the woods, this is a great gift to buy the family, and it's a really cool tour. So same with Mystery Cave. I've done that one several times too. So
Lots of, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yep.
I turned off my headset and see if this cuts the issues. Apologies for that, and thanks everyone for the patience. Yeah, it's truly amazing. The state park where the mine is Lake Vermilion, Sudan Underground Mine State Park, and it's on Lake Vermilion, and that by itself, it's just a beautiful place to visit. We actually have new camper cabins there that might also be a good package deal, to go for the tour and stay at one of the cabins. Another tour we offer in the same area is another mine. You can take a bus tour tracing the route miners. The route miners, once took to get to work or hunt for fossils at Hill Annex. And you can keep whatever you find there. So that's also kind of neat, especially for young kids. Then there's a tour at Blue Mountain State Park, where it's a 90-minute bus tour where you travel through the bison range. The bison herd at Blue Mountains is a herd that Minnesota State Parks has partnered with the Minnesota Zoo to keep more pure. They're breeding the bison, and the bison get to be in the range and roam free in a way in their own habitat. Another thing you can get with the gift card is signing up for an ICANN program where you can learn outdoor skills like how to camp, paddle, or fish. There's also mountain biking and archery options as well. And I've actually taken, would I purchase these sports? Oh, that's not for me. Bonita, I'll wait for that question and share a couple more things about the things you can get with the gift card. You can also rent canoes, kayak, or stand-up paddle boards, cross-country skis, snowshoes, or even a snow tube with your gift card. or buy anything from the state parks nature stores. These gifts we offer at the nature stores cater to outdoors enthusiasts and you can find books, souvenirs, clothing, any like all kinds of memorabilia, and the hiking and passport clubs. If you want to move to the next slide,
Oh, there we go.
Benji. So the hiking and passport clubs are really popular. They make great gifts because they help outdoor enthusiasts set up goals to spend more time outdoors. So the hiking club, you get to go on 68 trails at state areas throughout Minnesota, and you'll go past waterfalls, through woods and prairie, discover wildflowers, maybe even spot wildlife. Pretty much the trails that were chosen for the hiking club are the most scenic at these parks. As a passport club member, you don't necessarily have to hike, and your goal is to visit all Minnesota State Park and recreation areas, and also see amazing scenery along the way and discover something wonderful and new. I hear all the time about passport and hiking club members who discovered new parks thanks to doing the clubs. There are also rewards. We offer a free night of camping when you're halfway through each of the clubs, and at the end, and with the hiking club, you also get badges that you can put on your backpack or jacket. Each of the books is $14.95, and you can buy them at any of the nature stores. And again, you can give this as a gift, or the recipient can use their gift card for that. So these are just a few ideas for meaningful gift giving this season. Because when you share your lab for the outdoors with a loved one, you could be passing on a tradition that will be enjoyed for a lifetime.
Yeah, I really love that idea. I'm just listening to your presentation. I'm like, I got to get that for my folks because they just retired. They're newly retired here a couple years ago, and they love to hike, and that would be a really cool thing to get them out. And they love to travel a little bit and see a lot of Minnesota and do the hiking club passport or hiking club or the passport club. I think would be a great
Right.
gift for them.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of people like to do both. There's also
yep,
no time limit for when this needs to be completed. People take many years. The passport club tends to be the choice for people who might not hike, or that maybe hiking long distances is not it's not their thing, but they still get the joy of driving to a park and discovering somewhere new. Like we always say, it's not just the destination; it's also the trip.
yep.
That's the
And
experience.
kids love those scavenger hunt passport type things. They love to collect
Yes.
stamps and do that. I know we do one with the national parks also. But I
Yes.
think a good reminder right now too is new. I think it was last year, right? They moved that reservation system to 6 months for state park campgrounds and campsites. So
120 days, actually.
it's 120 days. So
Yeah.
we're approaching now. 6 months from now is May 1st. So we're approaching that time where, as parents, I'm looking, going, what am I going to do for summer vacations? And maybe this is something I can give the kids and plan
Right.
a vacation around some reservations at state parks and start on our passport club. So it's kind of a neat idea.
Yeah.
So we had a couple other gift ideas from the DNR. I think the Conservation Volunteer is one of the coolest magazines we have in the state. There's lots of great information in there. The DNR helps put that out. Um, I'm sure we'll put a link to that in the chat also. But that's one of those. I actually know several people that maybe aren't really into hunting and fishing, but they like to keep up on conservation issues in the state, and this is a great way to do that. Highlights all kinds of issues, both in the consumptive hunting and fishing sports and the non-consumptive just nature things. The pelicans that come through town, and um, pine marten boxes up north, all kinds of fun stuff. So
And the photos in these magazines are amazing. Just wanted to throw that in
yes,
there.
you can tell from the one I have on here. That's one of the photos from the magazine, and they're pretty spectacular. So, and along with, state parks are obviously an awesome choice for doing multiple things, but all your local county parks too. That's on my Christmas gift every year. I have a local St. Croix County Park just up the road from us here that I like to go fishing at. So buying that park pass for the vehicles every year is a great idea. Um, and one of them here has paddle boards and stuff to rent. It's right close to our house. So sometimes it's not a state park, but a local county park sometimes also have passes. So same with nature centers and stuff around your house. And I've helped out the DNR in multiple events in the winter. Um, and I love this outdoor event date idea, like the winter carnival. Um, I think, with all the stuff going on in the world today, and the supply chain demand, and we might not get it by Christmas mornings. This is such an awesome way to spend quality time with your friends, family, and maybe just do some really cool things that you haven't done before. The Winter Carnival in St. Paul is always fun. I know that the national parks, and I've helped put on a ice fishing event for that, uh, along with Phelan Freeze Fest in St. Paul and the Minneapolis Kite Festival on Lake Harriet. We do, go out there and we help put on through some of our uh, partners organizations, put on ice fishing, ski touring, uh, kick sleds. There are multiple events that you can come out and make a day of it. Come downtown, maybe get some lunch to bring with, or go someplace to eat, then go out to one of these events and enjoy the Minnesota winter, because it's a long season here in Minnesota, and it's a lot of fun. And I personally love it. But if you don't find a something to do and a way to enjoy it, it gets to be long. So get out there with your friends and family and check out some of this stuff. So I
Benji,
think that's. Oh,
and
go ahead.
actually, another thing that we're doing with Parks and Trails is we have a challenge out. Uh, Me as a winter lover, I still find it hard to go outside some days in the winter, especially after work when it's dark. So we started this challenge called 101 Days Outdoors. We started it last Friday, the free free park day, the day after Thanksgiving. But I mean, obviously, it's not too late to get started, and we're inviting people to share their adventures outside, whatever that may be. Like you said, walking the dog, going to the winter carnival, anything, just as long as you spend some time outdoors. And then you get inspired by others and whatever they share for their
Yeah,
activity.
it's a good point. So on our thank you slide, I have our contact information up there. And honestly, I think, the info center questions number down there with the email and the phone number is probably the best place to get information. So if you have any questions, reach out to them. They're super knowledgeable down there in the license center and the info center, and they can answer a lot of your questions. So I think with that, I'm going to stop sharing and we'll get into some Q&A here a little bit. And I know, we talk about all this great stuff and great ideas out in nature. And last week we did a Nature RX with Sarah Holger, one of the naturalists from Whitewater State Park, which is a great program. It was super interesting. She just got certified as a nature therapist. And so if that's something of interest to you, definitely check that out. She does programs out of Whitewater State Park down in southeast Minnesota. And I know, Veronica, you're a winter lover like I am and like to do a little cross country skiing and winter camping. So coming up in December, we do have a winter camping. How do people get started in winter camping? So that's one of those things that, you could team up and do something with state parks and gift giving and learn a little bit more about winter camping. And we have several of our state parks that are open year round for camping. So the facilities and the water isn't going to be at your campsite, but that's part of the joy of being there in the winter, right? Neither are the mosquitoes.
I don't know if we have questions coming, but I just did want to say I'm not sure if I missed this on when you were speaking, Veronica, but the I Can programs, the cost ranges from free to $85, but but you have to register. That's the big thing. You have to pre-register.
Yes, correct. Yeah, you have to register for all the programs. The fishing program is free, and they also always include the pass, the day pass for the park. I
Yeah.
have much of that. So thanks for the question.
Well, so if you register for an iCamp program, it does include the day pass, huh?
Yes.
The
That's
hiking one does not, I believe. I don't believe the hiking one includes the day pass,
That's
but
a
I could be
new
wrong.
one this past year. Uh, oh, I did not know that.
and we do got a question from Maria. She's wondering where the yurts are. And I don't know if you know that off the top of your head, Veronica, but I know in Afton I've stayed in yurts there
Yes. After
before.
Glendalough has paddle in yurts and or walk in, again, however you want to get there. Uh, some of my favorites, and I'm actually looking up on the website right now. Yurts. If you type the website name and then /yurts, then you'll find the complete list. Cuyuna, I've stayed there too. Yeah, just after
That's a
Cuyuna.
great park.
So I showed up, yeah, Cuyuna Country State Recreation Area is where ICANN mountain bike programs are held. It's a world-class mountain bike destination.
It's a great mountain biking. There's some great skiing there. And little known is there's some great pit mines right around there with some awesome trout fishing in them. So
Yes.
after
Yes.
a good few hours of biking, I love to hit one of those nice cold lakes and paddle out and try a little fishing too. So, and James just
And
put
there,
that link in the chat too. So if you're Maria, if you're looking for the yurts, that link that Veronica was
yeah.
talking about, just go to the chat and click on that and
Yeah,
bring up
and
all
we
the
also, I
options.
was gonna point out too, there are a lot of short URLs, and that's how I know how to get places. So I actually just type the website /yurts. And for winter camping, oh, and what I was going to say about Cuyuna too, you have a lot of bait trails in the area as well, so you don't necessarily have to go mountain biking.
Yep.
Eventually, like you were saying, I don't know how well I am going to share it anyway. I think I always thought Cuyuna was a fascinating example of how to use or repurpose something because it's an old mine and the mine pits, and please interject if you wanted to describe this better in a better way, but the pits were filled with water, I believe from the Mississippi. It's very clear water. People go scuba diving there too. There's a swimming beach. You have everything there. It's really a playground for for kids at heart like me.
It's a great, and I remember I went up there as a kid. My parents had a family friend that lived in Crosby. So back when some of that stuff was still a little active, and it was just kind of like you go there and you're like, there's not a whole lot going on, but to see what they've done with
Yeah.
that reclaimed mining up there is just phenomenal. I mean, the mountain biking is, I've biked all over the states, and it's right up there with some of the top stuff that you'll find anywhere. So
Yes. And Maria was commenting on the, looking forward to winter camping. And a couple of minutes ago, we were talking about, I don't know if Maria was referring to going in a yurt, but I personally also love winter camping. And there are only so many parks in the system that are open for winter camping. They plow on everything. My favorite, hands down, is Itasca. As I mentioned before, I love going there in the winter. I think my kids might be the only Minnesotans who've only been to the headwaters in the winter and never in the summer. But
I might have
Maria,
to go up there this year because I don't think
yeah,
I've been there several times in the summer, and I've been able over the years to canoe most of the Mississippi starting at the headwaters through Minnesota at least. But being there in the winter would be really cool. That's a beautiful park. So, and James just put a link in the chat too on winter
yeah,
camping at state parks in Minnesota. So all the parks that are open in the winter. And if you are interested in winter camping on February 9th, we have an introduction to winter camping with Jason Jeck from the Red Wing ELC. And they're doing a special for us. So if you're interested in winter camping, come listen to that program. Jason's going to be doing an adult winter camping trip, like I think a couple weeks after that. So you can come out and just try it for a night down in probably the Mississippi bottoms or Cannon River bottoms down by Red Wing. It'll be a pretty cool program. So
That's a great idea. I thoroughly enjoy that.
yeah,
I've been to have written an article about winter camping for MCV, for the Conservation Volunteer. Just as the very basics, but just a good idea to get inspired, maybe, hopefully.
there's more people that do it now than I realize. I think there's, it used to be a fairly small group of people that winter camped, and it seems like there's more and more all the time, which is pretty fun. So I think that's all we have for questions, unless James or Craig, do you guys see any in the chat that we missed? So I don't hear anything. So any last comments? I think it's the giving time of year, and this non-consumptive, encouraging outdoor activities and doing stuff with family and friends is it's my favorite thing to do in the winter. So, and for gift giving, I think it's great. So I appreciate both of you coming on and joining us and giving a presentation. So
Thanks for having us, Benji. It was really fun.
Thank you.
you bet. I'm going to stop the recording and we'll go back to the practice room. And thanks everybody for attending today's show. Again, this will be recorded, or has been recorded, and it will be posted on our website here probably by next Monday. And join us for the next one. So we have one coming up every week on Wednesday. Our next one, if I get over to my next screen here, is going to be
Ice safety, I
ice
believe.
safety. Yes. So we're almost there. I actually have my fishing shack set up, airing out in the backyard today after the little rain this morning. So I'm putting some new lights in there. I'm just kind of waiting for that ice to get a little bit thicker so I can get out. But Lisa Dugan from enforcement is going to join us and talk about ice safety in the winter. So, and then we got fly tying after that. So it's a great indoor hobby during the long winter nights. So, all right, we'll see you guys in the practice room. Thanks everybody for attending.